3, Brown Chamberlain, John Frankham. 4, Captain John, David Goulding. 5, Coomstitch, Blinkett, Colin Brown. 6, $50 more, Richard Lindley. 7, Midnight Love, Chris Grant. 8, Rich D, Colin Hawkins. 10, Silverbuck, Robert Earnshaw. 11, Wayward Lad, John Joe O'Neill. And 12, Wiggy Gio, Mr. Nigel Tutty.
And the betting opens with Urbigorn the favourite 3-1 and Silverbuck second favourite at 7-2. The Coomstitch 6-1. Wayward Lad is 8-1. Ashley House, Brown Chamberlain, Captain John and $50 more 10-1. Midnight Love and Rich D 50-1 and Wiggy Gio 300-1.
And this is what it's all about. Although we've had some very interesting contests, this is the one. And as we've already outlined to you, what a tricky competition it is. There are ifs and buts about lots of them, but then that applies to most horses in training. First one we see, Silverbuck, the reigning champion, ridden by Robert Earnshaw. And although Michael has expressed some doubts about this horse, he is such a perfectionist, and seeing him in the paddock now, I would say those doubts are rather, he's hesitant in case he overplays his cards. This horse has been working well. He's only had slight hold-ups, and he showed that he's okay by a recent win at Market Raiser. Silverbuck, the reigning champion. Number 2, Urbigorn, who ran so well last year. Peculiar little horse this, really, for a chaser. He's always got those loppy ears, little short neck on him, and doesn't strike you as a robust horse, although he is thickening out as he gets older. Graham Bradley has the ride on this, and providing he behaves himself, he can't give away ground to these good horses. Providing he jumps off well at the start, he must be a great danger. There's nothing wrong with him. He's a little bit eccentric, a little bit excitable, but then most racing folk are too. Coomstitch, blinkered. Well, what will he do today? He's been very good this season, although he still puts his head up a bit when he runs. By golly, he can run. Colin Brown rides him for Jim Torrey, who bred this horse, and wouldn't it be a marvellous thing for his owner breeder to lead this horse in with the big blue blinkers into the winner's enclosure. A lot of speed, this one could do it. Number 11, possibly the most handsome horse in the paddock, Wayward Lad, ridden by John Joe O'Neill, and John Joe bubbling with excitement riding this one this morning. I was talking to him just before he left for the course, and he's certainly looking forward to this. And really a lot of rivalry between the jockeys riding for the Dickinson stable, you know. They're all threatening to buy each other a drink, but they know this is a big payday. Wayward Lad looking exceptionally well in the paddock. Captain John, well, a very good horse indeed, Captain John, and coming right at the time. He can jump superbly. I've seen this fellow stretch for a fence and put his head down between his front legs. Really has the ability to get that little bit extra when needed. I wonder if he'll need it at the last today. Really pleased to see David Goulding getting a chance here, because David, in my eyes, is an artist in the saddle, and he's had a lot of knockers over the years. He's 35 years of age now, but he hasn't had that much mileage, you know. I can see him riding for a good while yet, and I'd be glad to be watching him. I hope this one gives him a good ride, because he'll give him a good ride. The coral colours there, Mrs. Basil Samuel, Brown Chamberlain, John Frankham, Fred Winters, one of his 2 runners. This horse, well, he's quite an excitable horse at home, and Cameron Campbell, his lad there, rides him out all the time and plays a good part in settling him down, but he's gone off the boil slightly during the season. I thought he was a hell of a horse last year when he won the Sun Alliance by 15 lengths, but the form of that race hasn't worked out particularly well. Urbigorn 11-4 favourite from 3-1, 4-1 bar, so last year's second, now favourite. Top of the shop there, Ashley House. Dermot Brown, the amateur, has the ride on this one. And Michael says that this one of all his runners, and there is Michael Dickinson walking round. Obviously, he can't get away from press and people, and this is the only time he can get on his own with his jockeys. He's had a very hard time here at Cheltenham, a lot of pressure on him. He's lost a stone worrying about it, hasn't been sleeping, and only indulged in 1 lager last night. Anyway, he's said all he's got to say to Dermot Brown. This is a cherry-ripe little horse. There's nothing wrong with him. Just doubts as to whether he's as good as the other Dickinson runners. But we'll see very shortly. Number 6, a strapping big horse. This is everybody's idea of a typical chaser. Sheikh Ali Abu Kamsin, who won the champion hurdle. What a marvellous double it would be if he could win the Tote Gold Cup. Richard Lindley on board. Richard, who, of course, partnered the Sheikh's winner, Gay Brief, in the champion hurdle on the first day of the meeting. But this horse is also peculiar in certain ways. He's better coming from behind. He's shown us that he really can run, but when left in front at Haydock, he wandered all over the place. He was like a car with a puncture and no steering. But he's got a lot of ability, unbeatable at home on Fred Winter's gallops. So there he is. That's $50 more, number 6. We have some betting for you. That here was thick with people before the jockeys came in. A lot of them have gone to get a prime viewing position. Number 8, well, Rich D has been a lovely little horse, always appealed to me. Colin Hawkins on his back, and this would be a popular winner for Neville Crump, who is the most senior trainer holding a license to date. Nice little horse this. He's been coming progressively all season. I wonder whether he's just quite got that little burst of speed. Rich D, number 8. Wiggy Gio, this is a very useful horse. He was 4th to Diamond Edge in the Whitbread, and that was on very fast ground. Nigel Tutty had a nasty fall in the Hunter Chase just now, but he's okay. Wiggy Gio is owned by Albert Sanderson, who is wheelchaired. I'm afraid he's been confined to a wheelchair for some time. Big dairy farmer from the north of England. This one trained by his daughter Jill. Doesn't really look good enough. So they're leaving, they're on their way out, and I'm pleased to say that sitting with me is Peter Scudamore. Peter, can you tell us what sort of feeling now the boys must be having as you see them coming to meet you?
I should think they're all pleased to be on their horses and getting out and getting to the start of the race, because the worst part of the pressure is the few minutes before you go out into the parade ring and talking nonsense to the owners, really, telling them how well you're going to run. So once you're on your horse, you feel a lot better.
I'm sure you don't talk too much nonsense, but look at that crowd there. I mean, this really must add to the whole thrill of the thing, to have people like this around you.
Yes, it does. In actual fact, I'm always worried about walking down here in case somebody gets kicked, or perhaps it's my devious mind, but somebody could do something nasty. If they had a pin or something in them, they could do some damage to a horse walking down there. So I'm always worried walking down there. My governor always has people round his horses to make sure nobody gets too close to them.
Well, you can't take too many precautions, but they're coming out on the track. Peter, just give us your rundown and your ideas quickly of these horses. We'll go through them.
Well, I would think Ashley House here would be very, very handy, along with Captain John. I would think the main problem to most of these, to the top class horses, is getting a good race, a good gallop in the race. And I would think Ashley House and Captain John will try and make a good gallop for Dickinson's other horses.
Well, following close on behind there is Urbigorn. Have you had any to do with him?
I've ridden against him a few times, but as I say, I think this horse, the better the gallop they go, the more chance he's got.
Doesn't he look well? He's thickening out now, you know, isn't he?
He has done well. He's probably one of the most improved horses in training over the last 2 or 3 years.
And behind him, Brown Chamberlain. Any views on this one?
Again, I think he would run very, very well if he had a good, even gallop, and he looks very well. He's been very disappointing, because my thoughts were the same as yours. I thought he would probably make up into right Gold Cup horse the way he won last year.
And the next horse, of course, this is one you've ridden yourself, Captain John.
Yes, he ran very well in it last year. I was 5th on him, and if he improved, he'd finish very close to them. Again, he wants a good gallop, and he may have to go out and make it himself.
And then, of course, the one that we're all so interested in, Coomstitch, with those big blue blinkers.
I've got a great deal of respect for this horse. I think this and Wayward Lad are the two of the up-and-coming ones that'll shake them all up. He's been an improving horse, and it'd be great to see Colin Brown, who's having such a good run, have a win of the Gold Cup.
He'll come very late on the scene. Well, don't expect him till after the last.
No, that's why this horse would want a good gallop. Certain horses wouldn't be coming back at him again.
And then the massive horse owned by Sheikh Ali Abu Kamsin. Well, what are your views on this chap?
Well, this is the horse that beat me here in the 2.5 mile handicap chase. I was on Artifice. Again, he's got to have a good gallop. If he gets his jumping together, he will run very, very well. And if he could just sort of come for the run from the last, he's got to take all the beating.
It would be an incredible double, wouldn't it, for Sheikh Ali Abu Kamsin?
Marvellous. I'm delighted to see a man who's put so much into racing have a lot of success. It's great. I hope it encourages other people to do the same.
Now there's Silverbuck, not a very big horse, is he, but obviously got a right engine.
Yes, he's obviously the Class A, very high class horse. He's been looking like a Gold Cup winner for 2 or 3 years now. He won it last year, so everybody's, but there's question marks over him. He's gone out of point in the betting, and Michael Dickinson says he's not quite right, so, well, we shall see.
Well, that's interesting. Let's see how they actually do bet now.
There have been a few changes. Brigorn is back to 3-1, still favourite. Coomsditch 9-2. The Silverbuck is 5-1 now, having opened at 7-2. Wayward Lad 7-1, $50 more, 9-1. On 10-1, Brown Chamberlain, Captain John and Ashley House. Midnight Love and Rich D 50-1, and Wiggy Gio 400-1.
So the runners down on their way to the start, and they're actually at the start. It looks like Colonel Piers Ben Goff, and it could be Princess Anne with the Colonel. I didn't actually see her as she arrived on the course, so I don't recognise the coat. But indeed, that certainly would be in the Princess' interest to go down to the start and see where the action is. Far too few people do go down the course, you know. There's so much to be gained from going down the course and seeing the action. But indeed, that is Colonel Ben Goff, who is Her Majesty's representative, and Princess Anne. I'm really pleased to see that she's getting into the heart of this race. So the start, down the straight, come up to the course, and then they go twice round. It's a long way, fast and furious. We hear that Captain John has been adjudged to be the best turned out horse, and Graham Renninson has been awarded the £200 by the sponsors for his efforts. Well, that's a nice bonus. And in fact, Graham will be down at the start to lead in Urbigorn, I believe, so he'll be doing quite a lot of work today. So as the runners go to the start, having had a look at this trial fence, we have a show of betting for you.
The pressure's very strong on you because you're on a fancied horse and everybody's wishing you well, and you feel you want to do well for it, the owners and the trainers concerned. But we still laugh and joke down there. You say we were very serious down the post in Champion Hurdle. We were, but there was laughing and joking going on. I'm sure Mr. Franklin will have a few words to say down there.
Now, little Urbigorn there, the favourite, and that's where the money has gone, Graham Bradley. And the reason he's being led round is because he is a little bit funny at the start. But there aren't many horses that are peculiar at the start, are there?
No, but I think now he's only just started to do this, and now that they know that he's doing it, I think they'll cure him of the habit and cure him especially for this race.
And of course, he was running last year in the colours of Martin Keneally. This year he's running in the colours of his brother, but of course that won't make any difference. And as I say, lovely nonchalant little head on him. I mean, he doesn't look excited, does he? You'd think he'd be pretty straightforward.
No, I remember watching him win, I think it was last year at Newton Abbot, and a most unimpressive horse to look at. We're all talking about great big Gold Cup horses that when you go out to Ireland to buy them, but this isn't the sort of horse that you would possibly buy with a Gold Cup in mind for the future.
Well, putting you on the spot, Peter, if you had the choice of mounts in this race, what would you choose?
Well, that's like asking me what's going to win. I would like to have ridden Wayward Lad, I think. I was very impressed with his run at in the King George. It was a very, very good run when he was second to Observe, and I think that he's possibly the up-and-coming horse.
And of course he did look particularly well in the paddock. There he is, the third of those three there. Looked really well. John Joe on the plate. He'll give him a good ride. Very classy looking horse, isn't he?
Yes, he's been very nearly top class over hurdles, and he's come on to be a top class chaser, so he's got speed, and stamina is possibly his only doubt, but as John Frankham got off him at Kempton and said that he thought that he'd definitely get the trip, and he's bred to get the trip.
7. Now this is Midnight Love, unbeaten last year and been running some good races this time, but doesn't really look good enough, does he?
I don't think so. He hasn't really been jumping well enough, and you've got to be in top class form to come here.
Okay, well they're under orders. Thank you, Peter. Let's join Peter O'Sullivan.
And Brigorn being led round by his lad as the starter calls them in. Brigorn, 130 favourite from 3 to 1, and they're off and coming to the first of the 22 fences. Brigorn has jumped off very well indeed, and it's Wiggy Gio leading him, in fact, to the first fence. Wiggy Gio from Brigorn, $50 more on Captain John and Ashley House on the inside, then Midnight Love and Rich D as they come towards the second and going a good clip too. Wiggy Gio from Brigorn, then $50 more behind them Captain John and Ashley House and Midnight Love and Rich D, and then Silverbuck and Brown Chamberlain, Wayward Lad and Coombs Ditch just the back marker, and they're really going a strong pace in this 56th running of the Gold Cup. And as they run down towards the next, it's Wiggy Gio in the lead from Brigorn, Ashley House on the inside of Captain John with $50 more on the outer, just in behind there Midnight Love, Rich D, Brown Chamberlain, Silverbuck, Wayward Lad and Coombs Ditch as the leader comes to the third. Wiggy Gio lands in the lead from Brigorn and $50 more, and Ashley House on the inside, then Captain John and Midnight Love and Silverbuck and Brown Chamberlain and Rich D and Wayward Lad and Coombs Ditch. Over the water now, Wiggy Gio lands in the lead from Brigorn. In third place, $50 more. Brown Chamberlain dropped his hind legs in the water there, coming to the first of the ditches. Wiggy Gio on the inside of Brigorn, $50 more, third for Ashley House. 5 and 6 are Midnight Love and Captain John, then Silverbuck and Rich D and Wayward Lad as they come to the sixth. Over the sixth, Wiggy Gio from Brigorn rather now from Wiggy Gio and Ashley House, and then $50 more as they race towards another ditch. Number 7 this is. Brigorn in the lead from Wiggy Gio, Ashley House, a little gap there to $50 more as they come to this ditch. Brigorn lands in the lead from Wiggy Gio, Ashley House in third, $50 more. Then Midnight Love, behind Midnight Love is Silverbuck, and then Captain John and Rich D, and then Wayward Lad, and then Coombs Ditch, and finally Brown Chamberlain at the top of the hill, and Brigorn lands in the lead from Wiggy Gio, and then Ashley House, and then $50 more. Then Midnight Love and Captain John, and on the outside of Captain John is Silverbuck, and then comes Wayward Lad and Rich D and Coombs Ditch, and Brown Chamberlain getting a reminder there. He's in last place at the moment. They're running to the first fence downhill. Number 9 of the 22 in all, and Brigorn clear of his field at the moment from Wiggy Gio, Ashley House, $50 more, Midnight Love and Silverbuck and Captain John and Rich D, and then Wayward Lad, Coombs Ditch and Brown Chamberlain. Still Brigorn clear of Wiggy Gio, Ashley House, $50 more, Midnight Love and Silverbuck as they jump the 10th and all safely over it. So racing now towards the fence that'll be the second last on the next circuit, Brigorn. The favourite is clear of Wiggy Gio, with Brigorn's stable companion, or one of his stable companions, Ashley House in third. Ashley House laid by the sponsors the tote to lose 12,000 this morning in a bet. Over number 11, Brigorn lands in the lead from Wiggy Gio, Ashley House, $50 more, Midnight Love, Silverbuck, Captain John, Rich D, Wayward Lad, Coombs Ditch and Brown Chamberlain. Over number 12, Brigorn lands clear of Wiggy Gio, Ashley House, $50 more, Silverbuck getting a bit closer, Midnight Love, Captain John, Rich D, Wayward Lad, Coombs Ditch, and finally Brown Chamberlain, a long way behind him, Brown Chamberlain. So another complete circuit in the Cheltenham Gold Cup, and it's Brigorn leading now from his stable companion. Ashley House has gone second. Then comes Silverbuck, another stable companion, moving into third on the outside of $50 more. Then comes Captain John. Behind Captain John is Wiggy Gio, then Rich D, Wayward Lad, Midnight Love and Coombs Ditch over the 13th. Brigorn from Ashley House. Then comes Silverbuck. Then $50 more. Behind $50 more is Captain John. Then Coombs Ditch getting a bit closer as they run down to the water. Over it, Brigorn lands in the lead from Ashley House. Silverbuck is next. Then comes Captain John, then $50 more. Brown Chamberlain's been pulled up. This is the second last ditch now. And it's Brigorn in the lead from Ashley House in second. Silverbuck is third. Wiggy Gio has been pulled up. They're coming to another plain one, the 16th. Brigorn lands in the lead from Ashley House, who makes a bad mistake there but gets away with it. In third place is Silverbuck. 4 is Wayward Lad. It's a Dickinson 1, 2, 3, 4 at the moment. This is the final ditch. Coombs Ditch is making progress. At the final ditch, Urbigorn is clear, 6 from home of Silverbuck, last year's winner. Ashley House jumps it 3rd. In 4th place is Wayward Lad. 5th is Captain John, and 6th is Coombs Ditch as they come to the top of the hill, the 18th fence. Urbigorn is clear of Silverbuck 2nd. Then comes Wayward Lad, jumping it in 3rd. In 4th is Ashley House. 5th now making progress is Captain John. 6th is Coombs Ditch. And Urbigorn is really stretching them now as they run down the hill. Urbigorn, the Michael Dickinson chain favourite, coming to the 4th last fence. Urbigorn at the top of the hill, jumps it clear in the lead from Silverbuck, last year's winner. Wayward Lad, Captain John. Behind Captain John is Ashley House, who's weakening. And they're coming down now to the 3rd last fence in the Gold Cup, and as they do so, it's Urbigorn being chased by his stable companions, Silverbuck, Captain John, and Wayward Lad. Urbigorn from Silverbuck, and Captain John, a bad mistake. Wayward Lad's improving. They're coming round the home turn now with 2 fences left to jump in the Gold Cup, and it's a Michael Dickinson quartet at the moment, with Urbigorn the leader. From Wayward Lad, John Joe O'Neill moving into 2nd. Silverbuck is 3rd. David Goulding is 4th on Captain John. Then comes Ashley House and Coombs Ditch as they come to the 2nd last. Urbigorn in the lead from Wayward Lad, Silverbuck, and Captain John. And that's how they jump it. Coming to the final fence now, it's going to be an unprecedented Michael Dickinson quartet if they all jump the last fence. Urbigorn is in the lead from Captain John, challenging on the near side. Urbigorn lands over it, Captain John 2nd, then Wayward Lad racing into the closing stages. And it's Urbigorn being challenged by Wayward Lad, Captain John on the near side. Urbigorn being pressed now by Captain John. Urbigorn striding up to the line to win it. Urbigorn wins the Gold Cup. 2nd is Captain John, and 3rd is Wayward Lad. And 4th is going to be Silverbuck. An amazing 1, 2, 3, 4 for the Michael Dickinson quartet, and he's going to achieve the 5th because Ashley House runs on to be 5th. Rich D is 6th, Midnight Love is 7th, 8th is Coombs Ditch, and so an amazing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Once again, history is made at the 1983 Cheltenham National Hunt Festival. The winner of the 56th running of the Cheltenham Gold Cup is number 2, Urbigorn, owned by Mr. J. Keneally, trained by Michael Dickinson, written by Graham Bradley. 2nd is number 4, Captain John, owned by Mr. F. Emami and Miss P. Montemidi, trained by Michael Dickinson and written by David Goulding. 3rd was number 11, Wayward Lad, owned by Mrs. S.N. Thulis, trained by Michael Dickinson and written by John Joe O'Neill. And 4th is number 10, Silverbuck, owned by Mrs. Christine Feather, trained by Michael Dickinson and written by Robert Earnshaw. And 5th, let me tell you, number 1, Ashley House, owned by Mr. Joe McLaughlin, trained by Michael Dickinson and written by Mr. Dermot Brown. What an amazing climax to the 1983 Gold Cup. Here is the winner, Urbigorn, number 109 of the season for his young trainer, Michael Dickinson, and number 23 for his rider, Graham Bradley, who now goes to the top of the Ritz Club Charity Trophy as the only rider to have ridden a previous winner at the meeting. Here's how he made every yard of the running, just about, to win it, as we review it with Richard Pittman.
Well, what an amazing performance. This horse has made every yard of the running. It was a tremendously fast pace, and he had stretched from the start. We were worried that, in fact, that he may not jump off. Well, he did just the opposite. He jumped off in front. Graham Bradley just giving him a reminder, and he is being drowned now by his 3 stable companions coming from behind. What a popular win it would have been for David Goulding on the outside there on Captain John. Popular for any of these riders to win it. 2 out now. Urbigorn just a little close there, but nothing too dangerous. Meanwhile, looming up on the inside is John Joe O'Neill and Wayward Lad, and Silverbuck, last year's winner, who looked so well in the paddock, just beginning to weaken. He certainly, probably wasn't top hole today, but there we are, 4 in a line there, almost for Michael Dickinson as they go to the last fence. And Captain John is only a head behind the leader there, but he comes across right-handed towards the rail, and would you believe that Urbigorn, having made all the running, then pulls out even more. Brad pulled his stick through from his right to his left hand, but he knows where he's going now. John Joe Neal has no answer on Wayward Lad, and Captain John has given his all. But to make all, to be caught and then go away, this is some feat. And for the 5th horse, Ashley House, to be Michael Dickinson's also, it's just something different. Urbigorn the winner, 100 to 30 favourite.
Yes, as you say, Richard, this is really something different. Most amazing outcome. And of course, quite a lot of money won on anti-post wagers by punters who took odds about Michael saddling the first 3. 5 lengths and a length and a half, the official distances. A result that Michael Dickinson could surely not conceivably have dreamed of. Proved absolutely correct in his assessment of last year's winner Silverback, but he wasn't spot on, the 82 winner and the 3rd in 81. Graham Bradley, after his greatest triumph. The young man who broke the ice for the stable at the meeting, he won on Saban du Loire. Marvellous consolation for his gallant but unavailing run against his stable companion Silverback last year. Doubtful whether an individual trainer has ever trained a 1-2 in a Gold Cup in successive years. And this time, as I say, the Dickinson quintet, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A disappointed man among the riders of the Dickinson quintet. It must be David Goulding there, walking ahead of Graham Bradley, because David's mistake at the 3rd last may well have made the difference between success and failure for Captain John. A fine race he ran under the circumstances. Bred by J. Fitzgerald.
The first 5 home, how on earth do you do it?
I don't know. I've really been worried sick, Jonathan, since Christmas, trying to get them all here fit and well. And we've had quite a few problems, as one always do with training steeplechasers. And I've lost a stone through worry, and it's been a hell of a worry. You know, when they started betting that we were going to be first 5 in the Gold Cup, you know, it was a terrible thing really to do, because it put a lot of pressure on. And it's a stupid thing to talk about, really. And it's built the pressure up, and it's been a lot of worry.
Which horse were you shouting for yourself as they came down the hill?
No, I was just shouting for the boys. I just said, come on, my boys.
And coming to the last, which did you think would win?
I didn't really know. I was just so proud of them, the way they all ran. And just like to thank all my staff at home who worked so hard. I'm fairly hard on myself, and I'm hard on them, and they have to put up with a lot. But they've really excelled themselves, the lads and the horses.
Now looking to the future, you've got Urbigorn and Silverback. They both now won the Gold Cup. And you've got various other novices that look as though they might win the Gold Cup.
Well,
could you run 6 next year?
No, I don't think so. No. If only people realised what a hell of an achievement it is to get a horse here fit to run well in the Gold Cup. Each year, favourites drop out in the betting, and just to get them here, let alone to win, is almost impossible.
Urbigorn, let's talk about him, because he He paced from the start. It was a fantastic
Yes.
gallop. Did you think he could stay there at that pace?
Well, Graham Bradley's a very good judge of pace, and you have to really leave it up to the jockey. And if they go too slow, they're doing for speed. If they go too fast, then they sort of go in a heap, 2 out. But it was a marvellous judgment of pace by Graham Bradley. So it's something that either jockey's got or he hasn't.
Wayward Lad looked to be giving the strongest challenge going to the last. Did you think he might get up?
Yeah, well, I thought he might do, yes, but he's just missed a bit of work. So I think he's run absolutely remarkably well, considering he was lame for a fortnight in February.
Silverback too. I know yesterday you were a little worried about him.
Yes, he's missed quite a bit of work, and we were very worried indeed.
Captain John as well looked to be going very well coming
Marvellous,
down the hill.
yes. We didn't really fancy him because he was beaten 30 lengths last year, and I thought he sort of might scrape into fourth, but he ran a blind. We're very pleased.
Michael, many congratulations.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Hello, Michael. On the Tote Cheltenham Gold Cup.
First number 2, Bregorn, 100 to 30, favourite. Second number 4, Captain John, 11 to 1, and third number 11, Wayward Lad, 6 to 1. First Bregorn, 100 to 30, favourite. Second Captain John, 11 to 1, and third Wayward Lad, 6 to 1. Jackpot number.
Did you think you could stay in front all the time?
Well, the only worry I had really, Jonathan, was going too slow. They jumped off and they didn't seem to be going any gallop, and I jumped off with them and everything. Never got left today, which I was very pleased about. So I just let him bowl along in front, and hopefully I was trying to get a lead for a couple of miles off Wiggy Gio, but he wasn't jumping that well, so I had to go on and do my own donkey work sort of thing. But I was always happy in front and jumped well enough in front. Just the 2 fences at the top of the hill he got a bit closer. But I could never see anything behind me coming with a serious sort of a challenge. And I hadn't even picked my stick up until turning for home, and I knew that he'd find another gear once he did give him a crack. And he jumped the last 2 well enough and stayed up the hill well, won like a good horse.
Could you sense Wayward Lad coming to you at the last fence?
I could sense a horse upsize me at the last year, and I didn't know exactly which one it was. I thought it was Coombs Ditch, to tell you the truth. So I just grabbed hold of him and gave him a slap, and he ran on nicely up the running. Did it well.
Have you ever ridden a tougher horse?
Never. No, he's a super horse.
I know you admire Silverback. How do you feel about Silverback and Bregorn now?
Well, that proved everybody's point that Silverback wasn't 100% on the day, and I would definitely not have beaten him by that far if he had been spot on. So it was a little bit unlucky on the horse, really. He's got the class to deserve to win 3 Gold Cups, never mind 1.
Many congratulations. Thank you.
Lovely, thank you very much.
I would like to take this opportunity and to the winning jockey, Graham Bradley.
And now Graham Bradley, who's in the colours, is wearing in the next race on Nicky Town in the Woods Club National Hunt Handicap Chase. Having just won the biggest race of his career.
There are also very generous cash prizes presented by the Tote of £200 each to the lad in charge of the winner, and to the head lad, Michael Dickinson's head lad, Jonathan Davis and Gary Williams, and I'll ask Michael to give that money to the members of his staff.
Occupying the first 5 places. With me is Tommy Stack. Tommy Bregorn, he's gone absolutely flat here, hasn't he? Silverbuck's in second, Wayward Lad third, Ashley House is fourth, and Captain John fifth. And really one had to wonder whether Graham Bradley had gone too fast.
Yes, he jumped off and went a hell of a pace all the way. You wonder, was he still going to stay there? But coming down the hill, he's just starting to niggle him a little bit, and he'd already flundered 1 or 2 before that, but he picked slightly there. But he's, 6/8 lengths clear at that stage.
But he seems to have got a second wind coming down the hill almost, doesn't he?
I think he just pulled him back again there and gave him a breather probably. The ones behind him, Captain John, is going reasonably well, as is Wayward Lad.
He's going really well, Captain John, isn't he, there?
Little got under that fence a little bit, the winner. But turning for home.
This is where Silverbuck's beaten, isn't it? You can see Roberts uneasy. Yeah.
Silverbuck is beat. He's just gone from giving a slap down the shoulder. That's him done. But from here on, Captain John and Wayward Lad are closing on him. And then one would think, had Graham gone too soon. But...
Well, this is coming on the elbow here, and he's still got a lead of 7 or 8 lengths, but he's just a little uneasy, and now the others are really breathing down his neck.
The other 2, and even Silverbuck, Robert has conjured a run out of Silverbuck. But at the second last, he just crashes through it a bit, and gets away from it a bit slow. And John Joe on the inside and Wayward Lad has wound his fella up. David Golding on this side has got a great run out of Captain John and has run a marvellous race.
He's with the length of him here, Captain John.
Yes, they're going to the last. There's nothing in it. They jumped the last practically within half a length of him. And from then on, this Graham Bradley, he's a really polished rider. Picks his stick through, pulls it through to the left and gives him a couple of cracks and pushes him clear from there. He rides with a lot of depth, rides with a bit of length and polish. This horse stays well, jumped out, stayed really well and showed that he'll take a lot of beating next year again.
But incredible to see a horse find like that, having been on the stretch most of the way. He's the one that finishes from the last.
Yeah, unbelievable. It just shows that how well these horses are trained. One thing they are, when Mike